Hi guys, this is Ashley from TheTechPlague, and today I'm going to be showing you how to do threading in Python. Today I'm going to be using Python 3.6, but this should be able to be done in anything older than like Python 2.5 probably. I don't know, threading's pretty basic, well, it's not basic, but you know, this tutorial's going to be fairly basic. And threading's just been around for ages, so I imagine the import and stuff like that hasn't changed throughout Python versions, so we should be fine. Anyways, to get started, what you want to do is obviously open up a Python file. You guys should already know how to do this if you're getting into threading, so I shan't need to explain this. Today I'm using PyCharm because PyCharm just feels better on the eyes. It's dark theme instead of using idle, which is pretty basic looking, like this. Pretty bright on the eyes, not very nice. So we'll use PyCharm. Oh, I don't even think that came up because I'm using XSplit. It's only showing PyCharm. Oh, sorry, I just demonstrated literally nothing to you. Oh well. Yeah, don't use idle, it's bright. I can't show it because XSplit's only showing PyCharm. Oh well. Anyways, to get started, what we want to do is we want to import the threading command, or not command, but module even. So what most people do is they literally just do import threading, and I'm going to show you later on why this isn't a bad idea for this tutorial at least, but it should be fine for whatever the fuck else maybe. But for this tutorial and this example, it's pretty silly to do something like this because you don't need to. Because what you're essentially saying is, I want to import everything from threading, literally everything, right? The entirety of the threading module I wanted, which, you know, why bother doing that when you can import specific things? But we'll show that later anyways, just to give you an example of why it's silly. And what else we need to import is, what we'll do is actually from random import randint, and that will give us the function of randint from the module of random. And what randint does is it will randomly select a number between two integers. Okay, we'll show that off later on. Now we want to define some variables. First off, we're going to define how many threads we're making. So we'll just say 6 for now. We want to define a variable of done equals 0, and you know, I'll rename it with something actually, with threads done. So what this variable is for, normally I'd just call it done, but I guess in the interest of tutorial, threads done just seems a bit simpler to remember. But anyways, what threads done essentially does is it tells the script how many threads have finished their job. I'll show you where this comes into play later on, but for now, write this up. The next variable we're going to need is the place is in our list of numbers. Alright, so all we need to do is just call nums, which is our variable, and we just call a list. Okay, that's all we need to do. Python's very nice with lists. Lists is pretty much everything in Python, so lists are the way forward, really. Now the wonderful thing about lists, if you guys have maybe programmed in C# or something and you've used arrays and stuff like that, the wonderful thing about lists, and these do exist in C#, but the wonderful thing about lists is we don't need to define how many sets of numbers or sets of strings we want in that list. It will just dynamically assign more space to that list when we need it. So for now the list is at 0, but if we keep appending stuff or adding stuff to the end of the list, it will get bigger and bigger over time. This is quite nice actually, because it means we don't need to set a value for it, which means, yeah, it's quite nice. For this project it wouldn't really make a difference even if we did have an array and set the value, but for other projects lists are really useful for when you don't quite know how many things are going to be stored in that list, so you just make a list and store things as you go. It's good, and I like it. So yeah, now that we got a nums, and we're going to make that a list, what we want to do is define a function, and we're going to call this the numGen function, and it won't take anything. And what it will do, fairly basic stuff. What we do is we just go, we would want to do, yeah, just literally nums.append, and we want to append, oh wait, sorry, I'm forgetting things here. We need to actually call global nums. If we don't call it as a global, then this function won't be able to add to nums. It will be able to read from it perfectly fine, but you can't actually add anything to it because it will create its own temporary variable within that function. So you just make it a global. Okay, And that lets us just call it and actually add stuff to nums from this function. So what we're going to do is just nums append, and that appends something to the end of the list. And what we want to append is randint, that function from earlier, and we want to do, I don't know, 0 to 9, we'll say. Okay, and that will select a number between 0 and 9, and it will append that to the end of nums. Next, what we want to do, missing white space, oh fucking pep 8. Alright, I'll do your fucking white space. What's it moaning about? Remove trailing black lines. Because I haven't typed anything. Fucking PyCharm and it's pep 8. Look, this is the silliest thing. Function name should be lowercase. Why? Because pep 8. Why would you want the fucking lowercase only function names? Why? If it was that, then it would just look so weird, like numgen. But with this, you can clearly see where num stops and where gen starts. It just looks better. Pep 8 makes no sense. Anywho, continue on. Sorry. So what we want to do now is we want to just literally go, I was about to type in, yeah, sorry, Fred's done, and we just want to do plus equals 1, which just adds 1 onto Fred's done. Oh, once again, sorry, need a cool global. Fred's done. Jesus Christ. So annoying. Alright, cool, okay, what we want to do now is we want to go down, and we'll just make our def main. Okay, and this is our function that we'll call to create our threads and to start generating numbers. Now the first thing we want to do is we want to make a nice little for loop. Actually, do we need... Yeah, I don't need to global any variables because we're not changing anything in here. That's fine, we're already reading. So what we want to do is make a for loop, and we want to say for... Why am I doing brackets? For I in... Fucking brackets, man, what is this? For I in range, and what range does is it's a range. So if we do 0 to Freds, wonderfully, what range does is it doesn't go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It will do 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but once it hits 6, it doesn't do anything from there on. So it's essentially like doing in other programming languages for I equals 0, that I is less than 6, and then it'll be I plus plus. Yeah, that's what other programming languages use, but range essentially just packages that into a neat little function, which is quite nice. But that's what you're doing like C#, C++, and fucking other things like that, really. I think C++ at least. I don't know. I don't do C++, but I assume it's pretty much the same. Didn't expect it. Sure, it doesn't matter. I hope. Don't know. Why is it indent expected? Oh well, we'll just start typing. It'll probably go away. Sorry, I'm losing track here. I'm not very well today, but I'm doing this anyways. Oh shit, what have I forgotten? Oh yeah. Sorry. So yeah, what we're gonna do now is create our threads. So what this is gonna do is it's literally just gonna loop through 6 times and create us some glorious threads. So let's do that. So we're going to do T, which is Fred. I guess I could call it, fine, I'll call it Fred, just for the sake of English language, just so you can read it and understand it a bit clearer. Okay, so Fred, and this is going to equal, now, you know how I told you earlier, right, that calling just import threading is kind of silly, and the reason for that is we need to type out fucking threading.thread and then the rest of it. Now, because we're only using the thread part of threading, literally all we need to do is go up to here, and instead of importing the entirety of threading, we just go from threading import thread, and all we need to do down here is thread. Sure, there we go, thread, and easy peasy. Now, what does thread take? Thread takes a multitude of arguments. Yep, see, it takes group, target, name, args as a tuple, k. Yeah, I don't know those last two, already group for that matter, but I assume group just groups threads together. I don't use it, I haven't needed to use it, but I'm sure there's probably a use for it. Definitely probably a use for it. But anyways, what we really need to focus on is the target and that's it. Yeah, I'll demonstrate args though. No, do I? Nah, I don't need to demonstrate args. Args is basic, but well, yeah, what we're gonna do anyways is target. So target. I'll show you args. We're not gonna use it, but I'll show you anyways. Target. Blah, 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 blah. Is numgen. Yeah, sorry, the function. We don't need to do that for it. That would be calling the function. This is literally just setting the target to be numgen, and the thread function will do the rest. What some people do is they'll have arguments in their function, like I or something, and what we would do down here in args is we'll literally just call it equals that and then 0. Now what you're thinking is, well, that should be fine, args 0, but the issue with args, and is the reason why I'm going to explain it now even though we don't need it, just so you can use it later on. The issue with args is it's a tuple, so it has to take at least two results. So this means we have to add a comma if we only have one argument. It essentially just leaves the second argument blank and just ignores it if you just have nothing there. But yeah, it's pretty much what you need to do with that. Just because args is a tuple, it takes a tuple. It doesn't take just a singular argument. It would have to take two. So we just pass a non-argument and it's fine. Now what we do down here is we just call thread.start, because that's our thread created up here, and thread.start just starts our thread, and that will start that going, which is quite nice. And then what we'll do down here, I'm very confident this is all just going to work as soon as I run it, and it should do. I did this earlier, so it should be fine. It's, like I said, it's very basic code, so I don't see why this would just suddenly fail. So what we would do once that thread's called is we need a way for our main function to wait for the threads to finish, and that's why we have the threads done variable up here. Because if it didn't wait for the threads to finish, it would finish the main function before the threads even finish their job, which means we would have an incomplete number list. Right? We would have a number list of 6, we would have a number list of 1 or 2 at the most probably, because the main thread will finish this fucking instantaneously pretty much. So what we need to do is we need to get it to wait. So we'll just set a while loop, and we'll do while threads done is less than threads, because that's how many threads we're having to wait for. So while it's less than threads, we'll just say we need to actually call something in here. If we don't, it will say indent expected, which means it's going to expect an argument in here of some sort. So we'll just literally create a temp variable and set it to 0, because I've got no use for it. Like, I know it's not used, but like I've got nothing else to put in this while loop, so we just had to put something in there for Python to be happy with it. So we just did that. It's not really wasteful in any resources. We're only setting up variable to 0. It's fairly simple stuff. Not going to really tax our performance too much. All right. So after we finish waiting for that, we then want to print the print the nums, and obviously we're going to come down here. And what is it? It's if underscore main. Oh shit. What is it? Underscore name is underscore main. Right? I don't normally do this, but I'm gonna do this for you guys anyways. And this is essentially asking if this Python script that we're calling from is our main Python script. I'm fairly certain that's what it means. I never use it because I don't see much of a point in it. Yeah, this is why it doesn't seem to work. I don't get it, honestly. I can't remember it. I feel really like a noob, but I just never felt a need to use it. Maybe if someone else is watching this, they can comment below as to why that's useful. But I seriously don't know. But anyways, I think it's underscore names main. But I don't remember. Alright, I don't use it. And it's pointless. Yeah, I don't know. But it's essentially just, I think it was just there for checking whether or not the Python script is the main one you're running, like it's on the main thread or something. I don't know. But yeah, as you can see down here, it has printed off a wonderful randomly generated numbers, and we can do it again, and again, and again, and again. Awesome. Now you're probably thinking, Ashley, what can we realistically do with this, eh? Hey, come on. What can we do? What can we do? And you're probably right there. What can we do? And with this, we can make another thread, def, and we'll just call it add nums. And actually, we'll make this take operator as an argument. We'll deal with that later, but don't worry. We'll make it take operator as an argument. And what we essentially want to do here is add all the numbers together. So what we're going to do is make another variable up here called final number. I'm going to make that equal 0. And what we want to do down here and here in the add nums is we just want to say for I in range 0 to Fred. Can't spell. There we go. So we're just going to loop through the amount of threads we have, and we just want to go nums and I. Wait, no, that's wrong. Sorry. Final number even plus equals nums dash I, and that's going to loop through every number in our nums list and add it onto final number. I need to call it as a global. Sorry. There we go. So yeah, make sure it's global so we can edit it. But yeah, so that will make sure final number plus equals nums I. So whatever the hell that number would be, and then we'll just simply go down here and we'll do another thread up here. Hey, let me show you something else with threading. Okay, so we're going to call this one thread again because this was created within a for loop, so it won't matter if we call up thread up here again because it won't be the same thing anyways, and either way we're changing it. So anyways, we're going to call it thread, and we're going to give it obviously the target of dum-de-dum-de-dum add nums. It's kind of a bad choice in function name because I've selected operator as a argument up here, and obviously that's going to mean that we're going to be passing like division and stuff into that. So add nums was kind of silly, but I couldn't think of anything else, so fuck it, we got that. Alright, I don't know, we'll just put plus. It doesn't matter, I haven't set anything up to deal with that argument yet, so whatever, we set it to whatever. And then what we want to do is we want to just say thread.start, but what we want to do is we want to be able to wait for this thread, and we could make another variable saying thread done, but that's pointless because we already have one thread. So what we would do is we'll do thread.join, and what that tells the script to do is wait for this thread to finish before continuing with any other threads, and that includes the main thread that we're running on to be running this script. So the main thread waits, and we don't even get to print nums until that thread has finished its job, which means we can just simply go down here and just print final number, and what that should do, 10. See, 1 2 3 5 9 10, easy game. Okay, once again 6 3. Okay, I can't be fucked. It just gets too many numbers. I can't be asked. All right, but you know it's adding it together fucking well. All right. I'm surprised we got 10 earlier, actually. I've never had that low when I'm doing this. 15. I was only getting like between 20 and 34. 16. Okay. Yeah. It does get 0. I guess, I mean, you could not have 0 and just literally start from there, but I want to do 0 through 9, because why not? Makes things interesting, I guess. So, what we want to do, too many blank lines? What do you mean, too many blank lines? What? What between that and that? Yeah, what, really? Good Pepe. Alright, yeah, that's what you're going to say the same for that, right? I like 2 blank lines between things, but whatever. Whatever, I guess for those squiggly lines, I'm happy. Except for that, I can't really get rid of that. Okay, what do we want to do? So yeah, we got that done, and what we could do is come back up here, and we got the operator string, right? So what we could very easily do is... Oh, this is interesting. Yeah, we would want to do the if statement in here, right? In the for loop. But that's checking every time. Why would we want to check every time? Oh, predicament here. Predicament. That's the thing. We would need to get rid of 0 if we're going to do division, because we can't divide by 0. I was just thinking about that in my head. Sorry for the silence there. So I was like, ooh, what's going to happen if like the first number is 0, and because final number starts at 0, it just divide by 0. Which is not good. So we'll set the random to be 1 through 9. That's way simpler. Then what we want to do, I guess we could do the check in here, but it just seems slow having to do that every for loop. Yeah, we'll just do the fucking if statements from up here. So we'll get rid of that for now, because we don't... Actually, we'll just cut that for now. So what we want to do, I'll leave a space as well in between. Let me go. If operator is I don't know, be a plus, then we want to do this naturally. Elif, which is obviously else if. You guys should know this. Operator is minus for I in range 0 threads final number. Minus equals is a thing in Python, right? Almost certain. We'll just do that and see, I guess. Yeah, it is. I'm almost certain. I don't think divide equals is a thing though. I'm gonna give it a shot and see what fucking PyCharm has to say about it. I might as well just copy paste and do that. Divide equals? Fuck me, it's okay, it's a thing. Then elif, I guess, operator is... I didn't think it was. I've never really... Wow, I don't know why I didn't think that was a thing. Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? Or either that, I'm probably thinking of a different... Oh, I don't know. I'm confusing myself, it's too late. Alright, yeah. So what we want to do in the operator is we want to set it to minus. That should get us a glorious negative number. And then we want to set it to divide. 0.01. 0 divided by 2. Oh yeah. That would be an issue, wouldn't it? What we'd need to do... Okay, I have no idea. What we'd need to do, I think, is set final number to be equal to nums 0, and then we would start our for loop at 1. Yeah, that makes more sense. That way, final number equal 2, and it should just go through, and yeah, divide, and it'll be like that. Honestly, I don't know what the point in this kind of software would be, but I'm sure you guys can put it into something else, and then time should just work really easily. I don't know why you would ever want to do anything like this. No, okay. Yeah, so of course 0 times 2 is just going to be 0. Jeez, I don't know why I didn't think of that either. Right, final number is going to have to equal fucking nums 0 again, and we got to set that to 1 because we've already set it to we've already set final number to the first one. If we just use that number again, it would be a really weird thing. Wouldn't make much sense. But for these, we don't need to do that because they're all adding and minus and subtracting. So actually, now the more I think about it, right, the more I feel like actually this software, I'm putting too much thought into this, but actually this software should literally just start off with it equaling nums 0. That way it would always be the first number in the list, and we just keep adding to subtracting whatever from that. So my time should now look pretty ridiculous. I need a tissue, hold on. Oh man, I've got the worst cold right now. But yeah, that's pretty G. Does everything right. I like it. But yeah, this is the basics of threading, really. If you guys want any more questions, if you more questions, if you guys have any more questions, feel free. What do you mean new line? What? Why did it want a new line at the end of the fucking whatever? Alright, so confusing, Pepe. Alright, yeah, but if you guys want any more tutorials on Python, feel free, man. Like, just hit me up as to what you want. I'll keep thinking of things to make, but for now, I feel like this threading script's quite nice. It's pointless having that there. Just wasting precious space, but yeah. I feel like this is pretty G. How's it goes? Oh, I just noticed it has that. That's cool. Yeah, it's nice. You can add any operator you want here, really, and it all works perfectly. I don't know why in my head I thought these weren't a thing. Of course. Hi guys, the audio abruptly ended. I'm not sure why. But I'll just like to say thank you for watching, and make sure to subscribe, like, and comment for more videos. Have a nice day, guys.